Welcome everyone to the Staylist Show, episode 1. As a reminder, this is the show where Skylar, rock enthusiast, and myself, Sarah, pop lover, take turns showing each other their favorite albums and then choosing tracks that will eventually join the Staylist. The master playlist that we're putting together that will be a perfect blend of both of our interests. So originally, I think that we thought the process would bring us to one master playlist that we would just listen to for everything.
Yeah.
But today we had a very special breakfast with our friends, the Hofers, shout out Luke and Jill.
Yep.
And they had a great idea that we could break this up into seasons, and each season could develop and ultimately pop out an album or a playlist at the end that is perfect for like one
thing.
Vibe. Right.
Yeah. So essentially, what we're going to be doing now with this playlist is this is going to be our original idea, which was to create a playlist for us to be in the car to.
Yeah.
The farthest that we ever have to drive to so far is South Carolina. Mm-hmm. So that's about a 12-hour drive for us. So we've decided that that's about 13 hours of a playlist. Mm-hmm. So now we're essentially curating the Staylist
Car
edition. And once that reaches 13 hours, congratulations. It's season 2. Mm-hmm. And season 2 might be a playlist to listen to while you're cooking, or party playlist, or
walking the dog playlist,
which,
hanging in the backyard playlist.
Yeah, that's a good option too.
Thank you.
So
hell, it could be summer by then.
Oh, it'll be past summer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean
12 hours of music.
12 hours of music. If you think math wise, it's a couple hundred songs.
Don't leave me do math on air.
I'm not gonna make you. I don't even know if that's real or not.
Let's say summer.
Yeah, we'll say summer.
So yeah, shout out to the Hofers. But before I guess we should be introducing anyone else, we should probably introduce ourselves. Who are you, baby?
I'm Skylar Anderson.
I'm Sarah Alonso. We are a couple who has had a hard time in our relationship finding out what to listen to, because I love pop and Broadway and show tunes. You love rock and metal and country, and so there has to be some middle ground on this Venn diagram between us. So every week, one of us will be the chooser of the album. The other one will be the listener. The chooser brings one of their favorite albums. The listener listens to it and comes back, and the listener, so the one that has not heard the album before in its entirety,
which is me today.
Yes, that's right. Gets to choose the tracks that will go on for this season, the driving playlist for us. So
we're still workshopping the name too. We might come up with something creative.
Yeah, give us time to think of a pod.
It is a driving
playlist.
Yeah.
And Jeep, because we both drive Jeep.
Yeah, we're Jeep family. That's
true. And snacks. I'm trying to think of other road trip things, but
we got it.
Yeah, we can workshop that out there.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this is podcasts are not a visual medium, so you won't see that our dog George is kind of walking in and out of the frame. Right now, it looks like maybe he's trying to bury something in the couch.
Yep.
So if you hear that in the background, don't be alarmed. It's just George.
And if you're seeing this on our YouTube page, then George got a little pet, and he'll be coming in and out of the frame quite a bit, I would say, because we are in our own home. This is not a studio. This is not some make-believe area that has been fabricated with a green screen or something. This is hard sweat and tears here to set this little area up. We actually sold our kitchen table just so we can have this spot.
It's in the kitchen, don't worry. Yeah. So, that being said, today's choice, I was the chooser this week. Skylar was the listener. And I chose Lorde's 2017 album, Melodrama. And
2017, okay.
Yeah. So just before we kind of get into what Skylar thought of the album, a little bit of background that I'm going to expertly read from Wikipedia. Melodrama is the second studio album by New Zealand singer-songwriter Lorde. It was released on June 16th, 2017 by Lava and Republic Records and distributed through Universal.
It's close to my birthday.
Yes, it is. That's right. That makes me feel lucky on this one.
Yeah.
Following the breakthrough success of her debut album, Pure Heroine, 2013, perhaps that's an Easter egg for a future episode, Lorde retreated from the spotlight and traveled between New Zealand and the United States. Initially inspired by her disillusionment with fame, she wrote Melodrama to capture heartbreak and solitude after her first breakup.
Wow. Okay.
So,
well, that makes me feel good about some of the notes that I have then.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, essentially, for the listener, just so that they know how this is going to work, is I, of course, chose the album. I love the album. I think I first heard it in its entirety 3 or 4 years ago. It was definitely a pandemic listen for me. This is also maybe an Easter egg for a future episode, but Olivia Rodrigo is a big fan of Lorde. So when Olivia Rodrigo kind of came on the scene, she credited Lorde for a lot of her inspiration. And so I feel like that made me say, oh, I like a lot of Lorde singles. I'll go back and listen to her discography. And I fell in love with her. And so I haven't been, I wasn't like in June 16th at midnight waiting for it to release kind of girly back in 2017, but I'm definitely, it's been in my rotation for a few years.
And where do you reside when it comes to Lorde as a whole, album wise? I mean, did you jump in around this time? Did you like her prior? I mean,
so I liked like Royals, which was the big single when I was in college.
I even know that one.
Yeah. And I think that's from Pure Heroine, which is her first album. And I had heard maybe there's one about tennis courts. I feel like the hard thing about streaming...
There should be, if not.
And you know what? If there's not, she can have that one for free.
That's right.
But I feel like the hard thing about streaming is like, when you used to have a disc, back in my day, when you used to have a disc, then you'd like read the cover booklet with it, and you'd be like, wow, okay, so this is, these are the lyrics, and this is when she wrote it, and who wrote it with her, and blah, 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 and there'd be like a little story. And that helped me retain which songs are on which albums.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so
for sure,
I feel like when I listen to her on Spotify, sometimes
it's tougher. Yeah. You almost have to remember by like the album art.
Exactly. And so I know that I love Pure Heroine because I shuffle all her stuff together, and I find it to be a no-skip experience. But I would say Pure Heroine is an album that probably we will revisit one day, but Melodrama is the one I always remember. And what's funny is, I wonder if you'll pick up on this, the first song on the album, Greenlight, is used in an episode of New Girl.
I didn't.
It's when a big moment happens. I don't want to spoil New Girl for anyone that's listening to this but hasn't watched the 2010 sitcom New Girl. But
it's time.
It's
time if you have.
In fact, pause this podcast, go watch the entirety of New Girl, come back, and you'll know what part I'm talking about. But it's when two main characters finally get together. They finally figure it out. Greenlight plays, which is a hilarious choice once you actually know what the album is about.
I was about to say, in my notes, we're going to go through, it's going to be funny to go back to this because I have a couple notes about that song.
Really?
That it's weird to think that it's about them getting back together or together.
Yeah.
Or is it back together?
Back together.
Okay, then never mind.
Yes. But,
okay. I can see that then.
Essentially, what Skylar's going to tell us as the listener this week is he is going to let us know how many songs from the album he chose to add to our driving stay list. And then we're going to go through those choices together. And I would be allowed kind of a one last ditch effort at the end. If there's any song I really love from the album that he didn't choose, maybe I can convince him. And if I don't, there's no hard feelings. This is a collaborative effort.
Sure. And I think that another thing to specify is we are going through the whole album in its entirety, but there are going to be some songs that I don't really have many notes for.
Yeah. And there can be some that I don't know that I want to listen to on a drive.
Sure. And so when it comes to you guys on the digital platforms here, like on Spotify, you're not seeing us, so obviously you didn't see me point at you, but you're going to hear the songs and it's full. I mean, the full song, once we start talking about one, that's going to be playing for you right after we get done talking. So if you want to skip to a certain point, like if we talk about like, in 45, the first 45 seconds of it's really cool. If you want to skip to that and listen to that part, then you can. I mean, it's going to be right there. So essentially, whatever song we're going to be talking about, we'll cut here in the real world, and you'll be able to listen to that song in its entirety or skip 30 seconds. It's going to pop up on if you're driving right now, it's going to pop up like right where your screen would be. Or if you're listening to it on your phone, it's going to be like you're streaming the song yourself. This is how it's going to pop up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And we're going to try that out for the first couple episodes. And if that works, then we're going to continue that way. And if not, then we might work with like putting the clips in the video or in the actual, file. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting into all the technical stuff.
I like it though.
Yeah, nobody cares about the technicals, but
I can't.
So where do we start with this?
So I think, one thing I will say to the listeners is I think the best experience they're going to have is if they have not listened to this album, to go listen to it in its entirety. It's an 11-song, 41-minute album, and then to come back, because I think it's it's a great album to listen to, in my personal opinion. But then also I think they're going to have more context, even in the entirety of the experience, for what maybe your experience was as the listener.
Yeah.
But of course, if they just want to hear us gab about it, they're in the right place.
Well, sure.
So let me start by asking you, had you heard of Lorde before? What was your impression of Lorde before this?
I've heard of Lorde before, yeah. I'd heard Royals. I've heard that song before. That's probably it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when you brought up this album, I said, what's that song that she sings like, and you can have a crown?
That's Billie Eilish.
And
We should also talk about Billie Eilish later, and how Lorde walked so that Billie Eilish could fly into the Oscar nominations for Barbie.
Well, see, I thought that was Lorde. So, that's my experience with everything. But no, I've heard Lorde or Royals by Lorde. I would think that and like the South Park references is really the only thing that I have with the Lorde. Personally.
I hope that Lorde is listening, because I'm sure she would be very happy to know that your experience is her #1 single on the South Park references.
I mean, South Park's a pretty big one too.
I know.
So, I mean,
you got to be a pretty big artist to have South Park want to talk about you.
Listen, if South Park's making fun of you, you made it.
South Park, make fun of this podcast,
I would
please.
love that. That'd be great.
We're very make funnable. Okay, so you came in with very maybe minimal knowledge of her repertoire, of her discography. I think that makes for an interesting conversation. What was your experience with the album as a whole, and did anything surprise you?
I would say my experience with the album as a whole was I could see what it was going to be from the album artwork. I had a feeling of what it would be, because I didn't know if it's actually her or it is her.
It's a painting of her,
which I think is so cool.
Yeah.
The album art looks really cool. I could tell that it was going to be probably more of like a leaning towards the sad songs, things like that. What surprised me was, I would say out of the 11 tracks, I would say 7 of them were like, you could throw them in the club.
Oh, yeah.
Club bangers.
They are club bangers.
Yeah.
Sad club bangers.
Like as in like,
Staylist.
Just as in like the beat of them are just very like, in your face, very repetitive, like.
So she worked with producer Jack Antonoff, who his band is called Bleachers, which I'm sure one day.
I think I've heard of Bleachers before.
Yeah, Bleachers is great. One day I'm sure, spoiler alert, that will come up. Definitely.
Man, you've already told the people a lot of spoilers.
I want them to know what could be coming, because.
Hey, and fair warning, I don't know the next album she's gonna pick either.
That's true.
So like,
this is also a spoiler for you.
Yeah.
And this could be next week. It could be in 5 months. But Jack Antonoff is also a big producer that Taylor Swift works with if she's producing pop music. So I think that would be something interesting to keep in mind, because there are things that he has done with certain songs of artists that I've always thought, he's making it a club banger.
Yeah.
But what would this sound like acoustically? And a lot of times it's a completely different feel. He's an interesting producer, but he worked with her on this, which
I mean, essentially, Lorde's got me crying in the club.
Yeah.
Is what it felt. This album to me felt like. I'm crying in the club.
I think she did her job.
Yeah, I think that's what she's aiming for, really.
She wants you in the club. She wants you crying.
I'm out here balling in the club. And I'm not balling with money. I'm crying.
Yeah, you're not balling spending money.
I'm balling with a W.
Yeah. So, can you tell the people? So, okay, overall experience, sad club bangers, which I think is what...
Sad club bangers, yeah.
Yeah, which I think is what she was going for. The album art is amazing.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Can you tell the people, how many tracks have you chosen from this 11-track album?
Oh, I don't think I can reveal that just yet.
Well, I thought you were going to reveal it. We're going to go through your choices.
Oh, I have a couple I want to talk about.
And then at the end, you're going to reveal?
Yeah. I have a couple that I've made notes about that I want to talk over and that I'm going to put into, like, for everybody to listen to.
Okay.
So then at the end, after we've talked about the ones that I have, then you know that I picked these 4 or 5 to talk about, but yet you still get to dwell in which ones I've picked
okay.
to add.
All right.
Yeah.
You're giving Dad doing homework with you at the kitchen table vibes right now.
I didn't mean to. All right.
Okay, so go ahead. We'll talk through the songs that you have on your list, and then at the end, you can reveal which tracks you chose.
Okay. Well, so essentially, the album artwork obviously I feel like leads into the first song, Green Lights. Like, I think that like she's obviously talking about like a breakup, and I think one of the lyrics was like she thinks you love the beach. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, and then she says, "You're such a damn liar."
Yeah. I think that's pretty funny, and that song definitely tied to the album for me.
Lorde is a humor girly.
Yeah, it tied to the album artwork, I mean, for me. Like, I was like, okay, I can kind of see what's going on here. She has, like, very cool production in her songs, I will say that. It's really interesting to see, like, influences that I can feel, you know? And we'll talk about those later, but...
Stay tuned.
So that's kind of my thoughts on Green Light.
Okay.
I would say that it was like a build up. It was obviously your number, usually your first 3 songs on the album are like to keep them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and Greenlight I think is interesting, and she does this a lot on these songs on this album. Like, Greenlight starts and she's like boom, 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 boom. It's like very low. Was that a good?
That was good.
Did that bring you back?
I thought the song was actually playing.
But it starts real low and kind of not slow, but just, and then the chorus comes and it's like, it feels like you are flying out of the sunroof, driving down the highway, and it's going so fast and loud, and the production really brings you somewhere else. And I think that's an interesting facet of what she does on this album a lot.
Yeah, I do too. I think that, really, for me, I think that of this album, I think that that's one song that I do want the people to hear.
Okay.
So
listen to Greenlight.
If you're listening on Spotify, prepare to hear Greenlight right now. All right, thanks for sticking with us. You just heard Greenlight by Lorde. I am Lorde.
South Park reference?
Yeah, it's South Park. So yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it beforehand. I like it. I like the song a lot. It's pretty cool. It's an interesting take on, like, I felt like getting cheated on in a sense.
Okay.
Is that ish?
I don't know that for sure, but I like that interpretation. I think that's the power of this album. It just feels like even just the breakup itself could be the betrayal.
Yeah.
No, but it could be cheating. It could be like, I don't know, lying or any of that kind of stuff. But I feel like there does feel like there was
there's
betrayal.
There's some angst
totally
in the lyrics for sure. So moving on. So Sober's the next track on this album. I really like this song. It's I thought it had really awesome production, honestly. I think that that's one thing that she does really good, I will say, is the production value is really good. Yeah, I mean, really, that was really the only notes I had for that one.
That's okay.
I'm sorry if that's the one that you wanted.
No,
but
this is about you choosing.
I know, but you're still a factor in this. You're still a factor.
I'm keeping tabs on what you're choosing and what you're not, and what you're talking about a lot and what you're not.
Yeah. All right. So Sober, it was a good song, but nothing resonated with me too hard there.
Yeah.
I don't feel like. Next is Homemade Dynamite. That is a party song.
Yeah.
That is essentially 100% just a party song, it feels like to me. It's once again, production was really good. It's very repetitive.
Yeah.
It's essentially, I mean, I didn't count them by any means, but I think it's probably 35 words tops in a 4-minute song.
Yeah.
Which is kind of standardish when it comes to
let the girl rest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let her
pen rest.
Yeah, she needs you got to have one of those songs when you're playing, like, you know, if you're playing a live show, you know, you get all these songs that have thousands of words in them and they take a lot of production value out of you. You got to have a couple of just let the crowd get down.
Yeah.
You know, that was the get down song of the album, I think.
I would say you probably don't know this reference, but for any of my Swifties out there, it's her Out of the Woods, maybe, which is a very repetitive song, but it's a freaking banger.
Okay.
From Taylor Swift.
Her resting song, a live resting song.
She got to put the pen down.
Let him breathe. Let him smoke. Let him smoke. All right, moving on. Tell me how to pronounce this. I'm going to sound dumb, I'm sure.
Oh, God.
The Lavore?
Hold my hand. Let's get tactile. The Louvre.
Oh, the pooper.
No. The pooper.
Isn't the Louvre like the bathroom?
Let's get tactile again. The Louvre is a world-renowned art museum in Paris.
Hey, I said that I was probably going to sound stupid.
I tried to jump in.
Bless it.
Wait,
Mama raised me better than this. I should have known that. What am I thinking of? The Louvre. I thought that. What's the word for the bathroom? The loo.
The loo.
Right?
That's British. That's still English.
I didn't know where we're at here. I didn't know what part of the country we're in.
Here's what I pray. I pray that you will go back, because you're a production guy. I pray that you'll go and you will cut me just you pronouncing that at the beginning, and that I can make that my ringback tone on my phone.
The Louvre, me saying that?
Yeah, but you said the Louvre or whatever you said.
I tried to get French with it.
You did get French with it.
You know, I don't have any notes.
No,
I didn't really like it.
Yeah, it's also
it was really slow.
Yeah.
You know, I just couldn't grab into it.
That is a skip for me sometimes. Like, and she talks about the Louvre only once. Like, they'll hang us in the Louvre in the back, but still the Louvre. And then, I don't know. It doesn't feel like that's what the song should be called and what the thesis is. And so
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
And honestly, the next song, Liability, skipped it. I mean, I didn't skip it. I listened to it, but no notes. Now, hold on, because obviously, if you're not familiar with this album, there are 2 versions of Liability on this album. I did like the reprise. The reprise version is cool. I like that.
Okay.
Because I think, and tell me if I'm wrong here, was Imogen Heap in that?
Oh, okay.
I think she was in that song.
Okay. I'm going to go to Wikipedia.
If not, Lorde has definitely figured out how to make that voice happen. Because I noticed a lot of background noise, or not noise, but background singing that sounded a lot like she was in that song.
You said, I don't see any traces of her. Now, let's also make sure that people know we're not experts. And Imogen Heap is on this album, please.
If you came here for someone to break down an album with the knowledge and brain power of is she in it?
Interesting. No. Well, not from what I can see, but a lot of
people are saying
write-ups talking about how it has a melancholy, especially like
there.
a lot of the tracks, but that track, especially the Liability reprise.
Yeah.
A lot of warm, melancholy, Imogen Heap dream pop. God.
I might be an expert, actually.
Yeah,
I don't
actually,
know,
I take that back. You might be.
We'll get to the reprise version. I do want the listeners to listen to that song. I enjoyed that one.
Liability reprise?
Yes.
Okay.
We're skipping ahead.
Eventually,
We're skipping
yes.
ahead though. So Liability is the song that I skip. I mean, not skip, but I don't really have any notes. Hard Feelings, Loveless, the next song after Liability. There was a beat change at like 350. Really cool. So it's the longest song on the album. It's about 7 minutes long. I would say the first 3.5 minutes of it didn't really grab me. The beat change and the change of the song, though, which I'm guessing is the first half would be Hard Feelings, and the second half is Loveless of the song.
Yeah.
But I would say then Loveless is better than Hard Feelings.
So that's so interesting that you say that, because I feel the exact same way. And every time I listen to this album, I always feel like, I wish they had made those two separate songs, because I like Loveless. Hard Feelings is fine, but like it probably would be a skip for me if I didn't know what was going to come at the end.
Yeah. Moving to the next one is Sober 2 Melodrama, which is the name of the album.
We love when they drop the name of the album in.
Didn't like the song.
Yeah.
You would have think that the name of the album would have been the song that was the single.
Well, and
I got...
She even gets a second chance at the song Sober.
Yeah, Sober 2. I mean, I was like, here we go. We got two...
The sequel.
Yeah, two choices, and both... I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that like them. It just didn't do what some of these other songs did for me.
And what we're building is a playlist that we both can enjoy to play in the car. So if you don't like it, then it doesn't have to go on there.
Correct. All right, so to the next one, I've got Riders in the Dark was the next song. My notes are pretty much saying that it's very catchy. I think that this song was a lot different than the rest of the album.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I don't think there wasn't an overproduction in this song. Her voice wasn't. It was more raw, I feel like, and that was nice. I liked that. It was just kind of like a break.
Yeah.
From the like party-ish kind of beats and.
And I like that. The idea, well, okay, so I had to look up the lyrics because this one is like very dense, yes, with the lyrics. I think in the beginning she says, break the news, you're walking out to be a good man for someone else.
Pretty wild.
Ouch.
Pretty wild to start a song that way.
Yeah, and then something that I was thinking about even just today when I was listening to it to prep for this, like she says, I am my mother's child, I'll love you till my breathing stops. Then it goes on to say, I'll love you till you call the cops on me. And then it really begs the question, what is love? Is it is it attention? Is it caring? Is it continuing to try until the authorities get involved? It is that like desperate feeling. I think it's perfectly captured. Whether or not it makes the stay list, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it is a perfectly captured sad girl breakup song.
For sure.
That desperate love feeling.
It lives in this album.
Yeah.
I feel like that song could have been spread out. Like the theme of that song could have been spread out more into this album.
Okay.
If they were,
I like that.
If she was trying to go for that, like you're saying, like that kind of like love breakup, desperate kind of feel. Stitch a couple of the club beats.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a really confusing album for me, I think. Look, we're not there yet.
We're not at the wrap up.
So anyways, I really liked Rider in the Dark. I liked that song. It was pretty good. Supercut. I don't have anything. I like the beat. I thought the words were okay.
I know the podcasts aren't a visual medium. But I wish that the viewers, if you're watching on YouTube, you're getting the full effect. Our listeners, I need you to know that my jaw just hit the damn deck.
And you know what? When I was doing all this, I knew that you like this song.
Because you've heard it before.
Well, I've heard you.
It.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think I was really paying attention.
Right. But it's probably ingrained in your head because it's on just about every playlist I ever make.
Yeah. I knew that.
So good.
I think, and maybe that's why maybe it didn't hit me as hard because I have heard it a couple times, but like nonchalantly, like it's not like I'm like.
This is my fault.
Probably.
So.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's just that I didn't really have any notes on it, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it was very standard.
I was gonna say the good thing about Supercut, and I think that, and I have thoughts like this on the whole album. Supercut, if you were to break it down, is a harrowing song because what she's saying is like, in my head, I play a supercut of like all of our moments together, and now it has ended.
Yeah.
But it is set to such a fun, upbeat beat.
It is very upbeat, yeah.
And it does feel like kind of your typical standard pop song, which is why I find it to be easy listening. But I don't think you've seen the movie Someone Great on Netflix.
I don't think so.
It is also a harrowing breakup story, but it's a really great movie. We should watch it. And it starts with the couple that breaks up in the first 10 minutes. Spoiler alert. It plays Supercut by Lorde, and it's pictures and videos of them over their 9-year relationship before you see them break up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, I am such a visual person. When I hear that song, I think of that, all the, like the Polaroids and the videos, and it's very emotional. But I can see, I mean,
you have something to like put it to.
There's something anchoring there that means, but come on, Supercut. No notes.
So you have the power of this too. Do you want the viewers to listen to Supercut now?
Yeah, I want the listeners to
take your decisions.
Okay, wait, but before they listen, I want them to think about the fact.
Listen, just because I don't have notes doesn't mean I'm not picking it.
That's true. That's true.
You have to remember that.
I want people to listen to Supercut, and I want them to think, would I want to listen to this in the car?
Yeah. You might be in the car right now.
Yeah,
and you might actually, you're going to listen to it actually, so.
And
we're going to force you to listen to Supercut in the car.
In fact, go listen to it right now. Listen to Supercut.
Here it is.
All right, everyone. If you are rejoining us, you just heard Supercut on Spotify, and you made the decision for yourself that this song freaking rules and should be on every playlist ever. Okay, moving on, baby.
Thanks for coming back with us. I know that this has been a long process so far. You've made it through half of the album with us, or a little bit more than half. So Supercut, yeah, that's what you heard. You just heard it. Who knows if it's going to be on the playlist? It might be on your own now, and if that is the case, maybe you drop a little comment. There is on Spotify. There's a little Q&A option we've set up. We've also got a question on there that says, what albums would you like to hear us cover? So, maybe what albums would you like to hear us cover? And maybe you say, Skylar, you suck for not picking Supercut.
But you still could pick it.
Or maybe you say, Skylar, you're the best for picking Supercut.
Yeah.
You don't know. You will know soon. All right, so we're moving forward. We already talked about Liability, the reprise version.
Yep.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that song. We already talked about the Imogene Heap thoughts.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
I think it was neat. I think it was a really neat song. Neat's a weird word to say. I feel like I'm like 80. That was real neat.
Patball.
Patball,
that was a neat song you played.
I did enjoy that one a lot. Now, what I will say is the very last song, correct? Perfect Places. Feels like the single.
Let's find out if you're right. I think you are.
Really?
But now it's the second single.
It's the second single.
Yeah.
So it's not the main song for the album.
No.
It's not the single.
But I will say, I bet Perfect Places, now this is with absolutely no research done, I bet Perfect Places perform better than the other singles on the album.
Okay.
Do you want to take a guess at what the other singles are? There are 2 others.
Supercut.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go with Green Light.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the first single. That was released March 2nd of 2017. Perfect Places came next on June 1st. So 16 days before the album came out. Or
Okay.
15 days before the album came out.
Oh, so that was like the teaser for the album drop, essentially.
And then
That's interesting because, you know, normally in the scheme of it all, usually you don't put your second to best song you think at the very end.
yeah,
You know, that's an interesting take,
that's true.
you know,
What'd you think of it?
the song.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a reason why I think it was the single.
Mm-hmm.
That's not saying that's a good thing.
Okay.
I think that in my 31 years of knowing nothing and listening to music, usually, in my eyes, your single is your song that sounds like it can be the most overplayed
Okay.
or is the most overplayed. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I think that Perfect Places sounds like a song that could be used in a movie or a TV show format that you would try and make popular, you know, in other ways, I guess, is the way to put it.
Okay.
So I did enjoy the song. It wasn't my favorite on the album, but I could tell that it was a single. Let's put it that way.
I know this sounds crazy. I'm trying to remember what it even sounds like.
You want the people to hear it?
Yeah, but more importantly, I want me to hear it. I'm like looking at, because I'm like,
Okay,
I'm
well, hold on.
hearing
Let
what
me
you're
sing
saying.
it for you. You ready? Here we go. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. how to
please.
sing it.
I'm even looking at the lyrics and maybe, I don't know if this is for the people or if this is just for you and me, but like I can hear the verses.
Yeah.
Like, you know, feel the party to my bones, like that, like where she goes down.
Yeah.
But I cannot think about how the chorus goes, which does not bode well for a single.
That obviously means that you don't like the song either.
But you know what? I think I do like this song.
Yeah.
Can I play it?
Yeah.
For you and me?
Sure. Do you want the people to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're going to get Perfect Places in your ear holes.
Yep. And we're also going to be listening to it at
We're going to check it out one more time.
We're going to check this one out. Who knows what it sounds like?
We'll catch you in about 3.5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Give or
Enjoy
take.
Perfect Places by Lorde. Oh, so that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Beautiful, wasn't it?
You know what? As soon as we started playing it, like when the people were listening to it, I recognized it again. I think you're right. This is definitely a big like pop song, but I'm looking at the lyrics too because I think sometimes, and this is a point I'll come back to a lot. And if you can hear that, that's George. He's found the loudest toy that he has that sounds like a crinkly something or other. And he's decided to chew it right now. But the thing about pop music is if it has a really poppy beat or it feels like it should be on the radio, I think that people undermine then the lyrics.
Yeah,
And
I do. I did.
yeah, and like, you know, she kind of starts by being like, it's all like poppy and like you can see them in the club kind of thing. And she's like, we're dancing, I'm all right, let's go to Perfect Places, whatever. And then by the end, she's saying, what the fuck are perfect places anyway? You know, it's like that. And I think that is why the reason I looked up the lyrics is because I really wanted to think about why she made this the last track. And
Kind of ties the whole thing back around then, doesn't it?
yeah. And like she says, you know, this is a breakup album, but it's also her sophomore album, which is really difficult for a pop artist, especially one with a breakthrough hit like Royals on her first album.
Yeah.
And
Hey, that was on her first album.
yeah. And
Good for her.
so then she comes back with Melodrama and there's a lot of pressure on her.
Sure.
And so she said she wrote this album also about like the loneliness of fame and that she went through this breakup, but then there's also a loneliness around notoriety in the public and the stress that comes with that. And so I think the fact that it ends with like, what are perfect places? Well, you think about this artist who just had her second album released to critical acclaim. And wouldn't you say that's a perfect place? But to her, it might not be. Like maybe it's not to anyone.
Wow.
But that's
true.
I think that's an interesting way to finish out both of those thoughts of breakup and like the loneliness of fame.
Yeah, I didn't really take it as the loneliness of fame. That's cool. I feel like that kind of changes my my perception of the album, I guess.
Yeah, don't you go undermining pop lyrics.
I didn't undermine. I just, I mean, as we talked about at the start of here, this is kind of my first little dip of pop and stuff. I've, in my younger years of being a very heavy metal, and I mean, I'm just now starting to really get into like country and softer stuff, and I would have told you probably 10 years ago, if I listened to this album, I would have hated every single song.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, and just for the listeners, I, being a big pop fan, probably feels insane that I wouldn't choose like one of the big pop divas of our time. And, not that Lorde isn't, but Lorde kind of definitely is pop, but also has like some alternative to her and like isn't quite on the scene as much as like your Taylor Swifts, your Lady Gagas.
Yeah.
So do you find that this album was palatable for your tastes?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, it was to certain songs.
Mm-hmm.
I would say my impression of the album as a whole was pretty repetitive.
Interesting.
But I think that is because of exactly what you said, is don't judge a pop beat by its cover, essentially. That's hard for me to get over sometimes, that constant boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom. And then when you I think that it's hard for me too whenever there's a chorus like that, just strict, very like, let's say 9 words here, let's say another 16 here, let's say 9 words here. Okay. And that's the entirety of the song, and nothing changes with any production wise. Like the song starts at 3.5 minutes and it ends at it starts at 0, it ends at 3.5 minutes, and nothing's really worked its way around.
Are you saying you're too good for iambic pentameter? Is that what it's called?
What is that word?
Hold on, wait.
Please repeat.
Iambic, wait, I think I said it wrong.
Iambic pentameter?
If we keep the Louvre part in, you can keep this in. Iambic pentameter. It's what like Shakespeare uses, the rhythm he uses in like rhyming. In any rhyme, it's like iambic pentameter is a metric line used in traditional English poetry and verse drama.
No, it's not that I'm saying that. I think it's the repetitiveness sometimes. George is
George wants the toy at the bottom of the toy box. Georgie, leave it. We're almost done. I have to take a video for the people.
Yeah, so Sarah's going to take a video real quick. A little behind the scenes while we're doing it. You going to try and find your toy in the bottom of the box?
I know.
All right. So, no, I don't think that I'm too good for it. I think that it's... I think that that's just what pop music is.
Yeah.
Essentially. I mean, not all of it, obviously, but I think when if you're going to stereotype pop music, it is verse, chorus, verse, chorus.
Yeah. And bridges.
I'm sorry, not verse, chorus. Bridge, chorus, bridge. Probably. Chorus, again.
Usually, in the pop songs that I know, it's usually verse, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus. And the bridge is like the time that the song really doesn't sound like the rest of the song.
Yeah.
And
that, I feel like that's pretty standard for a lot of music in general, though.
But I'm glad that we had the conversation this time, and like the first episode that I'm bringing the album.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we had the conversation about like not undermining pop lyrics.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times...
Well, I do read a lot of the lyrics, though.
Yes.
I would say for this album, I didn't read all the lyrics for every song, but I did, if there's 11 songs, I probably read 5 or 6 of the lyrics just in its entirety to make sure.
And I think, like, moving forward, that's how I want to listen to your albums, too, because I find that the storytelling is more important to me than the sound.
Sure.
Sometimes.
No, me too. I think that the storytelling for me is, I would say, the biggest part.
Yeah.
I think that it's hard for me to even get to the storytelling when I feel like I'm crying in the club.
Yeah, that's true. But
You know.
the story in itself.
It is. It is.
Club. What club is it? Why are you crying?
Yeah.
Are you
in the
bawling
club.
and bawling? Are you
I'm
bawling with a W and with a W?
probably
Double L?
probably L and W bawling.
Yeah.
All right, so essentially now, out of these 11 songs, I reveal my pick, right?
Yeah, can you first tell us
Picks.
how many songs you chose to add to our driving stay list?
Yeah.
How many?
1.
Can I guess what it is?
Yeah.
Green light.
No.
No.
Yeah. I have 1 pick.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is.
And I think I grazed over it a little bit just to kind of keep you.
Okay. I think I know what it is, but I don't want to be wrong. Sober?
No. We're going to actually let the listeners listen to it first, and then I'll reveal it to you.
Oh, okay.
All right. We'll be right back. All right. So you just listened to my 1 pick from Melodrama. Right? Yeah, Melodrama. And it was, you want to tell them? Oh, yeah,
They
you
can't tell
don't know.
me.
Oh, they can't tell you. It was Rider in the Dark.
Oh my gosh, I almost said that one.
Yeah.
I think that is a really strong song. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wait.
We gotta let George outside real quick.
Go
He's
ahead.
being a little antsy.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on. Oh, whoops. Turn the lights out on him. Okay, Rider in the Dark. Oh, man. So I guess we should also tell the listeners, the viewers, and we'll review this on our mini-sode that's going to come out before this episode. But just for some housekeeping, we're going to come up with rules that we can have in terms of what they used to call that on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, like
Like your
lifelines.
Lifelines.
So we're going to come up with lifelines that we can both use. But in order to like save songs that we really love or like veto songs, phone a friend. But on this one, I think
You already want to use one?
I don't want to use one, but it's making me think. Greenlight. Okay, here are the ones that I would have chosen for a driving playlist.
Mhm.
I would have chosen Greenlight, Supercut, and Perfect Places.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, Greenlight.
I could see green light was, I almost picked green light.
Really?
Yeah. I actually picked green light first.
Why?
Because it was the first song I heard.
Well, that's a really sophisticated.
No, I don't mean it like, oh yeah, pick that one. No, like I heard that one first. I was like, oh, I really like this song. I'm gonna just go ahead and pick it.
Mhm.
And then I heard the rest of the album, and I liked Rider in the Dark for the vibe of driving
Okay.
better than the rest of them.
But Greenlight. She says the word car.
I mean, it
in the
makes sense.
beginning.
I know.
She says, I do my makeup in somebody else's car.
Yeah, not mine.
It could be, though.
Not mine. Not today.
And then when it's like, truly, the chorus comes in. All right.
You can save it, but that's your veto or that's your choice for the rest of this season. You understand that? Until we get 13 hours of music on this playlist,
You know what?
you cannot pick another song if you pick Greenlight right now.
I save and I invest. So I'm gonna save my choice.
Mhm.
My save. I'm gonna reserve that for future albums because I think there are gonna be albums in the future that I'm gonna have to go down fighting, go down swinging on.
Yeah.
So
You want to pick your fights.
yeah, exactly.
battles
Pick
on
my
this one.
battles. So I'm fine with Rider in the Dark joining our stay list for the car. I'm happy to see some Lorde on there at all.
No, it doesn't mean that more Lorde can't be on there.
I
But from
know.
this album,
Yes, but
That's
it's
the
like
one
as
I picked.
first album that we're bringing, I'm happy to watch her join
yeah,
the stay list in any way. And, I respect your choice. And this is the purpose of the podcast. I brought an album where I really love every song on this album. You chose, where we meet in the Venn diagram, and now we get to listen to it together.
Yep.
All right.
I'm sorry to break your heart.
That's all right.
I know that that was going to be a tough one.
You know what?
But I had to go with my actual guts here.
I think that's important, and that's also maybe a spoiler for the next album we're going to listen to. And do you get it?
No.
Guts.
Ah.
So, speaking of, do you want to tell the viewers, the listeners, so this is also the time that you're going to listen to and find out what album Skylar is asking me to listen to next week.
Yeah.
So I have earned one song on the stay list from a choice of mine. And now...
Cue graphic.
Yeah, exactly. What my hope is that we get a listenership so wide that it finds an Excel master who wants to keep track of whose tracks get created, and then email us that graph.
Yeah, so we can
at thestaylisstshow@gmail.com, because we don't want to do it.
No.
I want to see what you can do.
And I don't want to pay you to do it either. So.
I want you to love this show so much that you want to give us an infographic for free.
Yeah.
Okay, hon. So which album do you choose for us to listen to on next week's episode, and for me to choose the tracks from?
All right, so I am going with the 1997 album by Days of the New.
Ooh.
Called Days of the New. It is their first album that they released.
Okay.
I'm pretty positive. I think it's their self-titled first album. Fun fact, all of their albums are self-titled. They actually do like Days of the New 2.
Oh, that's funny.
And their album artwork is all like kind of artsy, and each album artwork has a different color. So this one, people refer to it as like Days of the New Yellow.
Oh, okay. I look forward to listening to it. So I'll listen to it, and I will come just like you did this time with my notes and with the tracks that I choose to add to our driving stay list.
Yep, and I'll be the host next week, and I'll come with questions, and I'll come with a little bit of knowledge of the album and kind of talk us through that, and
Awesome.
We'll do it.
So before we wrap up, I want to tell everyone that you can find us everywhere at The Staylist Show. We're most active on Instagram and TikTok, so come follow along, engage with us. If you have anything that you want to add or you want us to consider for future albums, please feel free to DM us or email us at, again, thestaylistshow@gmail.com.
All one word.
All one word. And just before we go, what pop culture are you consuming, and do you recommend to the people?
The new Percy Jackson show on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
It's good. It's I think on the fourth. I think the fourth episode is finished, and the fifth is going to be starting on. I think it's Tuesdays.
Yeah,
when it comes out.
On Tuesdays. That is
very good show. I read some of the books when I was younger, and they obviously had the movies. You know, the movies were pretty good. I think that this TV show's doing justice to the books so far.
And the author is involved, I think.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Good.
Yeah. What about you?
I would say the pop culture that I'm consuming. Ooh, I have two.
You made this up. You can say two.
No, this is my segment.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to save one for next time, because I'm sure I will still be consuming it. Mm-hmm. The one that I am really enjoying right now is Fourth Wing by... Let me make sure I have her name right.
I actually bought her this book for Christmas.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And
I know
I
all about
it so
Wing.
much.
I know nothing about it, but I did buy it.
I know. But you know what? It's Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros.
Okay.
And I mean, I think the second book in the series just was released in November. So,
oh, nice.
And it was like the top book recently in fantasy. So definitely people out there reading
Fifth Wing?
No, I think it's Iron and...
God, I'm hilarious.
Dad, you're so good. Iron and Flame, or Iron Flame. God, who knows?
Iron Flame.
I'm not there yet. I don't want any spoilers. But Fourth Wing is great. It's about dragons.
Oh, I like dragons.
It's about basically like a school where you learn to fly dragons, but it's a very like deadly process. Kids are
That sounds
definitely
cool.
left and right. You would love it, actually.
Yeah.
I'm sure in 3 weeks that'll be your pop culture consuming.
I would love that. Sounds great.
All right, excellent. Well, again, this is the Staylist Show. I'm Sarah Alonso.
And I'm Skylar Anderton.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a good one.